And this one starts, I've read that acetonitrile can have amine impurities and form deposits and pump components over time. Is there a procedure for flushing the system to remove these components? So first, let's talk about this acetonitrile thing. My feeling is I've never had a problem with acetonitrile. I have 12 HPLCs set up right here. I have 2 of them running acetonitrile 24/7. I've never seen the issue, but I've heard tell of the same thing. And in fact, I like to put it this way. I spent maybe 15 years teaching and writing classes for Agilent. And in one of the classes, one of the HPLC classes, there was a slide that talked about what not to store your HPLC column in. And it talked about don't store them 100% aqueous, which I agree. Don't store them with a lot of buffer, which I agree. And then the last one, don't store in 100% acetonitrile. Yet there's no reference to that. And for the life of me, I've looked and I can't find anyone who has definitively talked about the acetonitrile issue. So my first statement, I've never seen it, but you're not the first person to ask the question. If you talk to the folks at Optimized Technologies, they're the kingpin when it comes to HPLC fittings and cartridges and check valves. They do talk about most of us use ruby check valves, ruby balls inside the check valve, and that might cause some kind of polymerization or some kind of stickiness with acetonitrile. And if you have that problem, they make ceramic check valves. So it's interesting. That's one reference I found in the whole internet about that really did discuss the problem. Some people have had more issues with older Waters designs. The older Alliance instruments have seen, or people have reported more of an issue with it. And the issue is if you run acetonitrile for a long time, that it'll begin to self-polymerize. So it gets maybe a little sticky. If that's happening to you, by the way, it's never happened to me. I've never seen a problem, and the vast majority of us have never seen a problem. But if you think you have a problem, washing the system with a mixture of acetonitrile methanol or isopropanol acetonitrile, what you're trying to get in there is a different solvent, getting the isopropanol, getting the methanol in there to try and dissolve these oligomers that have shown up. So again, the question, is it okay to use 100% of acetonitrile in LC? And the answer is absolutely, it's fine. We do it all the time. Everyone does it all the time. 100% acetonitrile is fine. Definitely be aware that some people have reported a polymerization issue which causes sticky check valves. So, and again, most people have not noticed that, but some people report it. Let me make one other statement. The only issue I've ever had with 100% acetonitrile is that it is a terrible solvent for buffers. So if you're using a lot of buffer, never use more than 25 millimolar buffer. If you're using more than that, if you're using a lot of buffer and you do a gradient where you're running 100% buffer and you go to 100% acetonitrile, I've found that in the past there's a point like above 70% acetonitrile that you actually do get buffer precipitation. So to me, that's to me the moral of that story is don't use too much buffer. Keep it down below 25 millimolar, and you should never have that problem. But if you're using a crazy amount of buffer, buffer and acetonitrile don't play well. At lower concentrations, they're fine. But if you're trying to dissolve a buffer in acetonitrile, it's not going to work. So you get precipitation. It'll precipitate in the column and cause overpressure. So a long answer to a great question about acetonitrile. And I think the takeaway is, yes, you're fine using 100% acetonitrile. The buffer thing worries me more than anything else.